so I can post it on YouTube and share it with others as well. Hey everyone, I'm Lisa Drennan. I This is day 2 of your free coaching tips on stopping self-sabotage. Where does it come from? Why do we have it? Why do we squash our efforts? Why do we want to do something and then we put roadblocks in our way? It doesn't make any sense, does it? Our thoughts determine our feelings determine our emotions determine our actions. I remember when I was in counseling for all those years. I didn't even know, didn't even know what a feeling was. And I remember sitting with a counselor and he said, well, how do you feel? Like, what do you mean, how do I feel? I'm angry, I'm really angry. And he's like, well, anger is a secondary emotion. What? What do you mean by that? So usually when you're angry, it's a underlining cause or something underneath that that's causing that anger, that's causing that explosive. I remember years ago I did a retreat based on one of Lisa Turkis's book, uh, Unglued, and I was a speaker and I was sharing on different ways, different coping coping mechanisms, modalities, and how we express ourselves. And I was a stuffer exploder. So basically, I would get angry, I would get upset, I would be hurt, I would feel left out, I would feel unworthy, and I would just bury it, bury it, bury it. And then all of a sudden something would trigger me. So if you can imagine a balloon blowing up, so you're stuffing your emotions so that balloon gets bigger and bigger and bigger until it can't hold any more air and then it just pops, it explodes. That was me. Can you relate? So I just wanted to share some tips with you on how to you never ever want to manage your anger. Okay. We don't manage anything. I don't know about you, but I don't manage things very well when it's building up like that. I need to know the why. And if you've listened to me before, you've been following me for a while, you know I love to ask why. I have red green personality and I love to dig deep and research and I want things taken care of yesterday. I want them orderly and I want to know why. Why? Why do I do things? And that's probably because I spent so much time not doing that, not expressing myself in an appropriate way and having those healthy boundaries so that I was able to say, okay, what you're doing is upsetting me and to feel safe enough to express myself where I didn't get upset. And I learned, you know what? It's okay to cry. Clears your cleansing. Cleansing. Their tension. Yeah. They're tension, but they're also cleansing. So self talk is so important. Your thoughts need to be positive. And I love scripture where it says we're to captivate our thoughts in obedience to Christ. Our thoughts should be positive and we should always work through our pain and process it so we can serve, so we can love others, so we can love God, love others, and fulfill our purpose. So I'm just reading from this Christian Caring for People's God's Way book. And on page 237, it talks about self talk versus God's promise. So when you say something is impossible, God's promise says, with my help, with God's help, all things are possible. And when you say, I'm exhausted and I can't let go, God promises He will strengthen you and will uphold you. When you say nobody loves me, God says, I love you, and nothing can ever separate you from my love. When you say, I'm not able, God says, I am able. God in you is able. When you say it's not worth it, said that lots of times, God says it will be worth it. We can never see the bigger picture. We go into this fight or flight response when we get worried or scared and we start thinking, wow, this is going to happen. That's where Aroma Freedom comes in and helps. You can get rid of those doomsday thoughts just by doing a session. If you haven't tried it, you need to connect. I can't forgive myself. God says, I forgive you. And forgiveness is huge. I'm going to be talking a lot about forgiveness during these free coaching things. Um, I can't manage. God says, I will supply all of your needs. God is our power, our provider, and our protector. Your self talk says you're afraid. It's okay to be afraid, but God says, cast all your anxieties on me, and I will give you my peace. You say, I'm not smart enough. You know how many times I've told myself that? God says, I will give you wisdom. You say, I feel all alone. God says, I will never leave you nor forsake you. So that's scripture. That's God's promise to us. When we fully rely on Him, He will provide all that we need. We just need to trust Him. We need to work through our fear. We need to acknowledge. We need to ask the why. We need to ask the who, the what, the where. Writing down, journaling about these things when you're stuck, when you're in an anxious mood, when you're feeling left out, you're feeling defeated, you're feeling like you're not good enough, write down those thoughts. Writing it down, that pen and paper is powerful. And change those negative thoughts to a positive thought and ask yourself, why do I feel this way? Most of the time, it's coming from something back here in your past that you haven't processed, and it's keeping you stuck in pain. And in order to get out of that pit, you need to process the pain so you can live your purpose. That's day two number tips. Day two tips. Stay tuned for tomorrow. Have an amazing day. You are awesome.